Hi, welcome to Cherie's Weight Loss Journey. I can't even tell you how I had to catch up on the rest that I've missed yesterday. But I did. I feel pretty good. I woke up, had a chance to see part of the full moon, and by the time I got out of the house, it was overcast and raining. I'm like, what the hell? What the hell is this? Right? I really had to contemplate, what I was going to wear today. And I opted for wearing the faux fur fleece, the fleece lined sweatsuit because it's an extra large. And I'm telling you, it is baggy, right? And I dreaded the fact of wearing it. Ooh, that was an armadillo. I dreaded the fact of wearing it to work because, if I'm sweating and the lining gets wet, I'm like, is it going to dry or am I going to catch pneumonia? But anyway, it was like, you need to wear those before, they just, become so baggy that you ain't gonna want to wear them. And I was like, okay, I'll wear it. Because I truly was thinking about wearing, the size large white sweats and the white top and calling it a day, right? Breaking in the Christmas outfit before Christmas, because that's how I do things. I like to be first. I do. I like to be first. But anyway, I opted for the sweatsuit today. And I'm glad I did because the temperature since I've been in the car has dropped 3 degrees and the rain went from a light sprinkle to a heavier sprinkle. Not a heavy sprinkle, but a heavier sprinkle. You hear my windshield wipers, rubbing up against, a partially dry windshield. Yeah. So anyway, one of the things that was on my mind was the fact that, why is it when people are wrong, right? When they're wrong and they have given you, let's just say, bad advice, right? They gave you bad advice. These people never apologize. They never say, oh, you know what? I'm sorry. I did give you that bad advice. And, because number one, if somebody takes your advice, they have you in high esteem that they would take your advice. And it seems to me, if you can't even apologize that you've given them bad advice, I think, that the esteem that they gave you was definitely in vain. That's how I feel. Now, if you were one of those people who would say, oh, I gave you some advice, you took my advice, I was wrong, some of them will be a smart ass and say, don't ask me ever again in life. And it's just like, what? All you had to do was to say, I apologize. I gave you advice based off of how I thought you would react, and I did not give you the advice that I would have, gave to myself if I was in that position, or vice versa. I gave you the advice that I would have given to myself if I was in that position, not considering how you would necessarily react or emotionally feel about the position, about the situation. Anyway, the whole point that I'm trying to make today is the fact that, people hate to admit when they're wrong. They could be so close to you. They could be your mama, your daddy, your brother, your sister, your child. Nobody wants to admit that they are wrong. And I don't understand this barrier, right? Because as soon as they don't admit that they're wrong, they create a barrier, right? To the point where even those people who admit that they are wrong, these people are like, nah, these people are just patronizing me. They don't believe that they were wrong. They're just patronizing me. They're not sorry. This apology is fake and bullshit. Okay? So that's true. That's true. We can say that, oh my God, and the fog has rolled in here, making the whole place look, like mysterious, right? Because now the temperature has dropped to 53 degrees. Okay? So that's almost a 10-degree drop, and the fog has rolled in. To say that, our weather is mysterious is an understatement. So that was one of the things that was on my mind. And, when that happens, right? When that happens, right? The next time that, you're talking with people about your situation, you want to, try to collaborate with key points, that affect you personally. And it's really hard because a lot of people will be dismissive on the things that you think are key points, and they will not want to negotiate the conversation. And it's like, what is this? Since when did I, enroll in a monologue of advice, right? Because not even psychiatrists feel comfortable doing that. And, they are learned practitioners of psychology. And then you have all of these lay people out here, these common people, who are like, well, I'm just going to tell them about, my life experiences. And it's just like, yeah, but when you're giving your advice, are you telling them that this is your life experience? When you're giving them advice, this is what you did in that same similar situation. right? Or that this is actually a third party, interpretation of that situation, and it's weird. It's really weird. And I have woke up to thinking about these things because a lot of people have been led astray, right? A lot of people have been on the go along to get along train, thinking that, everybody has their, specialized part in this world, right? Only to find out that many people had wanted parts in this specialized world that wasn't their specialization. They may be capable of convincing others that they can do it. You can do it, right? And then, the lack of desire, the lack of motivation, proves that this is not their specialty. That's one of the things that, I used to talk about, when I was working at AT&T, right? You had these people who would say, oh my goodness, they were doing 20 hours extra more a week without pay, and they said that this was to prove, right? To prove their dedication to the, to the company. And I'm like, well, if you need to prove yourself by volunteering 20 hours of work, maybe you're truly not qualified. And I had got a lot of people very angry at me. Yes, I did. Yes, I did. And some of them would tell me, no, this is the avenue that we take in order to, seek advancement. And I'm like, oh my gosh, 20 hours a week, if they had went to go study, they could have got them another degree, and that, and just run circles around them in the interview, if they ever was to interview for the position, rather than sucking up, brown nosing and kissing ass, just to try to get promoted. But of course they didn't see it that way. And then I became, enemy number one on their hit list. Like, who does she think she is? Telling me something. And I'm like, we're talking. Who would have knew that such a thing, would have struck a hard chord and resonated, on your soul. Because what I said was true. Okay? That's the last thing that they would want to admit. That instead of brown nosing, 20 extra hours a week, they could have been using those 20 hours in advancing their education and their skills, right? Because honestly, what happens if, you're brown nosing, just to get a promotion? First of all, you're going to have to promote your boss. They're going to want you to promote them first. Then when they get promoted, then they reach back and then promote you. And that is considering that you are a priority on the list of people who have helped them get promoted. Because, yeah, you're not the only one, helping your boss man get promoted to a higher position. So anyway, enough about that, because you can go on and on and on with scenarios about how people, get bamboozled into investing into other people instead of, investing in themselves and being, a self-promoting free agent. Okay? Right? So then, they end up, clinging together, holding on to their position, and, trying to figure out ways that the whole department or the whole division can show itself worthy of existence. And if it doesn't, then you're shit out of luck. Okay? Shit out of luck. I've always been an advocate of education. I'm not an advocate of, it isn't what you know, it's who you know. Just because, people can take advantage of you under that code of misconduct. So I replenished my salad, my Quest chips, my Quest protein bars. I took my vitamins A, B, C, and D. I also took my collagen, my fiber, and yeah, out here doing it again. I'm just glad that I don't have to do this same routine more than a couple of days a week. That's what I'm really glad about, right? Because I'm too old, right? I've already worked damn near 45 years of my life, okay? And some people, they don't even have no conception of what that means, because why? They might be only in their 40s right now. They're like, wow, I worked your lifetime. Your whole existence. Wow, I cannot believe that all of this rain, fog has covered up the full moon. And it was a beautiful full moon, right? When I let the dog out, the full moon was so super and full. It was absolutely beautiful. Look at this. And the strange part about this situation is you'll have people who don't care that the roads are slippery, Oh my God. Yeah, reckless young men out here. One on a motorcycle, one in a Mustang. Yeah, but EMT hasn't got there and nobody was laid out on the ground, so at least the testosterone saved the ass. Uh-huh. I am definitely going to have to do laundry. Okay? I was looking at my laundry basket and it's overflowing. And I'm like, how? Right? How is my laundry overflowing? And it's like, okay, when it gets colder, you wear more clothes. Period. Okay. What else? I was trying to figure out, why my knee was bothering me. And I think it was because I was trying to incorporate some Pilates moves in my lightweight exercises. And yeah, that could be it, right? But because my bed is kind of a sauna with the electric blankets, that kind of just got heated away. Okay. And today I even took a hot shower to make sure that my muscles was woke up. Right. So we're back at 53 degrees. A lot of overcast and fog. Often they will say, that the fog, the clouds are disguises of the ET that actually exist in our skies, right? Which goes back to talking about yeah, there are some people that are going to have rapture from their own ancient star ancestry. But if it's not, you know, you chose. You chose. Because if you get nothing else out of religion, religion will at least try to open up your eyes that your soul, your spirit, came from somewhere and will have to go somewhere. Okay? That's why religion is very basic. And so many people are lost in the wilderness trying to figure out, where they came from. I don't know where I came from. Well, I came from my mother and my father. I'm like the animals. Not even the animals think that way. Right? We don't see animals, exceeding, their natural existence, their role. They pretty much, they stay within their role. When they don't stay in their role, the animals get harmed. If they are if they keep doing it, they may even become extinct. And here's another thing. A lot of people was talking about, that's not true. We was put up here on this earth, to be exactly who we are. And yet we see evolution. Evolution, I'm telling you. Natural selection. Every day. From the time that we're born as like a little worm, like a caterpillar, and develop into this human being, some of us, we will naturally select how we want to look, how we want to walk this earth. And they will swear up and down that natural selection doesn't exist. Right? And it's like, okay, you're taking things, that are general statements and and misapplying them. Out of ignorance. Either the ignorance that you don't understand the harm that you are pontifying on this earth, or out of the ignorance of just not using your brain to actually think things out. Right? And it's so weird because these same very people will use intention in a similar way of natural selection. Right? Oh, I want my hair to grow, down to my ass. Right? So their intention creates a natural selection. And then some people, will get belligerent and talk about, oh, I want to have, blue eyes or hazel eyes or, and it's like, okay, your intentions can make it happen, right? They do have operations that will and can change your eye color, right? Some people, they want it to be a different gender. Now we have the technology where people can actually select the gender of their child, or even, create a type of transgender. Okay? So if you're talking to me about you don't believe in natural selection, I think you need to open your mind up, because it's all around us. Now, sometimes, natural selection can only be so natural until it becomes artificial. Yes, yes. And I guess, part of the reason why, I was thinking about this is because of the many people that have been misled through these self-proclaimed life coaches, these false prophets, these devious reactors. I mean, it's one thing, to be the devil's advocate, okay? But it's another thing to be, a devious reactor, just to get attention. And then when you get this attention, you want to be praised and have money thrown at you like the stripper on the pole. Hold on. Okay, I made it here on time, but not with a lot of time to spare. I probably got about 5 minutes before I had to start heading in there. Maybe 10. There are a lot of people working, this peak season. At least I finished my protein drink. And I hope you don't mind I was ranting today, but I couldn't help myself. because that's the way I woke up. I woke up, I was questioning, why is it so hard for people, to admit that they were wrong, cease the confusion so that everybody can move forward, healed. Instead of this other thing, oh, well, the world is not perfect. Oh, everybody makes mistakes. Yeah, but saying everybody makes mistakes is not admitting that you had made a mistake. Right? That's camouflaging that you made a mistake where you should be admitting that you made a mistake and therefore sweeping it underneath the rug. So, even though I had to put on, some stones, I had to put on some stones today because I'm like, look, I need some grounding. For sure. For sure. And I know if I need grounding and I'm taking measures to ground myself, I have to ask myself, why aren't other people taking proper measures to ground themselves? Whatever it is that you use to ground yourself. Right? Also, I'm wearing 3 bracelets, not interesting enough, yesterday I didn't have any bracelets on. Did not have any stones or gems on besides, my white gold. But today is another day. Okay? So I was a little disappointed at myself because I made some mistakes yesterday while I was picking. And honestly, I can say it wasn't quite my fault. And it was because of the rack lights. Right? I had a pick 2 situation where I had to pick 2 items, and I picked the item, and the rack light had interfered with my work, making me feel as if I had to, send the tote down the conveyor belt. That was one. The second one that I had made a mistake was I was supposed to pick 2 items of the same thing, and I had picked one, but because the rack light had interfered with my train of thought, because when the rack light comes up, it interferes, it takes down the screen, and it has a message, and then it will come back up, and I forgot that I had actually only picked one until I hit the 2 items and say, oh no, that item is still in the bin. Okay, so that's 2 mistakes right there. As a result of them fucking rack lights. See, that's the type of thing that will also make me take a time out. I'm like, okay, the rack lights. You know. Anyway, let me go.